Hello to everyone. Today we are broadcasting on two channels. MidEast Talks, that is a Kurdish Jewish channel that we broadcast together with a friend from the Jewish community in Canada, and Rojava Kurdistan, which is the main channel that we broadcast for the Bakuri Kurds. We have a distinguished guest today, Yehuda ben Yousef, the president of Kurdish Jewish community in Israel. Kak Yehuda, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much.
And another distinguished guest, an academic that studies in Hebrew University, Kak Weysi. Kak Weysi, we all know you. Thank you for being today with us and organizing this episode with Kak Yehuda.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know you are both busy, and I know you are both busy with trying to mobilize Israel and the US Congress to support Rojava. So in this busy schedule for both of you, I thank you very much for sparing this time for us.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I would like to start with a brief introduction. So when we read the world media, and if we remember the news footages, the Kurdish people, especially the ones in Rojava, also the ones in Iraq, in Iraqi Kurdistan, we have been described as a pro-Western, democratic, sometimes liberal, but openly anti-jihadist people in the Middle East. Today we are victims of jihad. Even though we fought shoulder to shoulder against the ISIS together with the US military and helped liberate the northeastern Syria from this terror, Trump administration, it felt suddenly that they have chosen to back a Syrian leader whose coalition clearly involves jihadist elements. Mr. Yehuda, why is that?
Really, nobody know, but I think about things. I think some guys from Trump have interest in Syria, interest of money, of big money, of the gas, of oil of Kurdistan, and I think, and only think. I don't say it's 1,000,000%. I think this is what I think. They make a lot of pressure on Trump to give the Syrian the oil and the gas of the Kurds, and maybe we see after now they take it, who is be the company that take the oil, take the money, and we have to see who is the man is take money from this situation.
What do you think about the involvement of Turkey? Because everyone points out to a single day, that was the Paris Agreement between Israel and Syria. And Turkish foreign minister was also there, and he mentioned that he gave his okay for the deal. And what points out that Turkey was involved in the events that led to this jihadist attack, backed by Trump, believe it or not. What do you think Turkey's involvement is, or how much weight does Turkey have behind this?
Listen, the Kurds and Israel, they have the same enemies, the same. If you see all over the borders, we see Iran is your enemy. We see Turk, it's your enemy and our enemy. You see Syria, we have the same enemy. The agreement we signed with them, it's not agreement of peace. It's agreement of silence. This is the things, and they know if something not go sure, we bomb in Syria. Only yesterday, our airplane been in Syria, as you know. So it's not peace agreement. It's not agreement about do something else, to go, to bring, to do business with each other. No. As I think, as a lot of Israelis think, this Ashar jihadist, it is plain what he do. If you see what he do in last months, he have a big program for all the area. With who? With Erdogan, the other jihadist. What are planned? If you see, they agree peace with the Druze and they make genocide to the Alawim. After that, he make a peace with the Kurds. He go on the Druze and try to do genocide on the Druze. Israel is going and bomb a little bit in Syria and they stop. And now we finish with two this, with the Alawin and Druze. He coming to make a genocide to the Kurds. He have agreement with you, no? He make agreement. As I know, as all the world know, he have a kind of agreement with the Kurds. It was big, all the news. He have a agreement with the Kurds. So what happened? That he now make a war against the Kurds.
Exactly. What happened?
So, as I tell you, this is his program to make peace. It's be quiet in this side, he take this side. He finish with this side, he make agreement with the middle and make a genocide in another place. He do it to the Christians, he do it to the Jews, he do it to allowing, and now he do it to the Kurds. And if he can, he do it to Israel. So this is the program of a Turk, of Erdogan. Erdogan want to control now. When we finish Iran, he want to be the big control terror in the Middle East. So we know Erdogan take care about many countries in our area, a Muslim Sunni country, and they have a big business with the all time with Rojava. He don't forget it. We know that Erdogan very afraid what happened inside Turkey. How many millions Kurds we have in Turkey? Somebody say 8, 10, 12. I don't know how much. You know, maybe everybody saying another number. So but
Correct.
we know it's a couple of million. It's big places of Turk belong to the Kurds. So we know you have a big history with this Erdogan. He make all he can to kill the leaders of the Kurds inside Turk. After that, we don't forget it. He make a war with you in a lot of places, in Kobani, yes, in another places, all over the years. He do it. So he want to finish the Kurdish. The Kurdish afraid from the Kurdish, afraid what happened in his country. You see what happened in Iran. You see what happened in other countries. We know a long years that the Kurdish want autonomic. He don't want to give him an autonomic in Turkey, and afraid if they give autonomic in Syria, they can choose together. It can be a big problem for him. In my point of view, the Kurds make mistake all over the history because they don't go together. If they big together and don't looks everybody is interest, they have a country from many years ago. But as you know, what happened in the Kurds in Iraq when Talabani go with Barzani and they finish the war with the ICS. He go with Iran and make Iran make a different agreement with Barzani and Talabani. And after this, the Iranian and the Iraqi take Mosul to our hands. So I all my life say to all the leaders of the Kurds, please be together, but not only with mouths. Be together. Learn from us. We have a lot of problem inside Israel. We don't agree each other, but we outside we are together. You can't look that the army of Israel separate. One go here, one go here. This is what happened with Talabani and Barzani.
Barzan, yes.
Yes. So now afraid. He know that the Kurds not united. He knows that they don't go together and make a war together. As you know, the Kurds have a fight even inside Iran. All the Iranian Kurds people try to make autonomy like in Iraq. But never they don't go together. You have the PKK in Turkey, you have Barzani in this side, you have Talabani in this side, you have a lot of party inside Iraq. They are not united. If they be united with one leadership, they can build our country or our country.
Yes.
I feel Kurdistan is a part of me. I have Israel and after that Kurdistan. So this is the situation, in my opinion. This is the program of Ashara
Turkey
and
and
Turk
Rogan.
together,
Yeah.
Erdogan.
So,
And another thing, forgive me that go.
please.
They see what happening with Iran. All the eyes of the world is on Iran. It's be warm, not be warm. Israel, Iran, USA with Iran, America with Iran. So all the world, our eyes were in Iran. Trump take them or not take. Nobody know. So he take this point of time and take the Kurds, and the world is not take his hesitation to the Kurds in Syria. So it take a good time that everybody now busy with a lot of things, and he make in his sight a good steps for him, a bad steps for the Kurds.
For the
This is
Kurds,
what we
yes.
do. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you. Kak Weysi, Kak Yehuda explained well what Turkey wants and how Turkey, why Turkey supports such a genocidal offense, let's say a massacre against the Kurds. But why do you think Trump administration is complicit in this? And why we don't hear, like I look at New York Times, for example, the articles that are published in New York Times are like shameful. Like they are talking about two forces that are fighting with each other in a country that is that you would think it's a normal country. No, like on one side is Al Qaeda, and on the other side are the Kurds, the most peaceful society and the most oppressed people in the Middle East. And there is no country better than United States to know that, because they helped us in 1991 and later in 2003 in Iraq. And everything that we managed to secure for ourselves in Syria is, in a way, thanks to the United States. Why is this happening?
Once again, thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to be with Yehuda, who has been engaged tirelessly. Of course, there are multiple reasons to explain and to understand the approach, the American approach towards the Kurds, and especially the policy in Syria. First of all, it was obvious, like the American mentioned, American representative under the Obama administration, Trump administration, again Biden administration, that the cooperation with the Kurds were transitional and not permanent and not strategic. They considered the Kurds only as a part of the struggle against ISIS, to defeat the ISIS, and within this framework, they supported ISIS. That was one of the reasons. And he mentioned also Trump did the same thing in 2019 when he attempted to withdraw his forces when Turkey invaded. Second reason we could let's say, the second reason could be the impact that the American changed the policy. Like in November last year, Trump declared his national security strategy, and according to this strategy, he actually implied that the U.S. will withdraw its forces from the Middle East and will leave the policy of the Middle East to Turkey, to Israel, to Saudi, and this let's say the alliances of Saudis, and that U.S. will focus on Latin America and around like Greenland and all the like territories close to the U.S. And that was so. And then the third, of course, very important. The U.S. have always been there for the own interest. I mean, also we know the reference from the Henry Kissinger in 1970s that he said that the U.S. have only permanent interest but not friends. And the American, they have the interest, they like with in Syria, not because they don't know that Jolani's background and his connection with ISIS, like that. They also, I think, they know very well that Jolani is who was a member of the Al Nusra, then Hayat al Sham, and then ISIS, and they all belong to the same ecosystem of jihadis, whether Hamas, ISIS, Daesh, even though they may have different schools, but the core is the same. So they know all this, but we have to understand that all Arab countries in particular were behind Trump, behind Jolani to gain recognition, the legitimacy. They paid a lot of money to, they made many agreements with the Trump, and they actually pushed for leadership in Syria under Jolani to establish a kind of stability, and they lobbied the Arab countries in particular, but most importantly Turkey. Turkey is not just because of any economic interest. We have to understand what happens to the Kurds and what's happening to the Kurds, as Turkey is the main architect of all this massacre, I would call it. It's not just something new, actually. We know all throughout the history that, and also we follow what's going on in Turkey, that they always have are anti-Kurdish when connected this Kurdophobia with anti-Semitism, and how they try to eliminate the Kurds. They see the Kurds as the factor for the the national security, and to wherever the Kurds have any gains, the Turkey aim to is also agendas in the spirit will colonize up to you mentioned Jerusalem will be part of this project, and Turkey always have seen the Kurds as security forces, as an obstacle to this project, and to eliminate them. And so the Turkey has been behind it, and these are some of the factors, but there are multiple factors actually. Also the stability in Syria, and also another important point that I have to mention, the failure of the Kurdish leadership. Actually, the Kurds fail to understand the realpolitik, the pragmatic. They just focus on some ideologies, utopian ideologies, to establish the ideologies which will never ever work in the Middle East, where all multi-ethnic, multi-religious communities, tribes live there, who are hostile to each other, who have totally different mindset, the mindset that they don't understand. They have historical issues, whether Alawi, Sunni, Shia, Kurds, the Turks. They never solve these issues, and suddenly to come up with some ideas based, on Murray butching, going back even for the U.S., it's impossible to implement this ideology. And the Kurdish leadership focused on that ideologies, and they failed to understand the social structure of tribes, how the tribe could react, to understand them, but also they also actually that's why they just were like a kind of very reactive and not proactive. They didn't understand the American policy. They didn't meet the American interests, and they were presented by Arab states, but also by Turkey, as the obstacle to stabilization of Syria, and failed to convince the Trump that they are actually the source of stabilization. And because they were ideologically motivated, and they failed to understand the reality. And this is the mistake that the Kurds have been always doing throughout your history. These are certain more important factors, but there are more factors. So I just
correct. Yes. So thank you, Kak Weysi. Kak Yehuda, I'll return to you. Despite the reasons, this is a massacre inflicted on a peaceful people. Kurds have no interest in other people's lands. Kurds have no interest in other people's nothing. Kurds are only busy to secure their own lifestyle that they have inherited in thousands of years, and they want to leave to their children on our ancestral lands. So when this massacre happened, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have taken the lead to mobilize all your connections, and also the global Jewish diaspora. So could you please tell us how you felt, why you decided to mobilize your efforts in Israel, and if I'm not wrong, your efforts in U.S. Congress?
Yes, you don't wrong. So the question is why I do it. This is the
Yes,
question.
please. Starting
Okay.
with that.
I was very, very pleased. Even I know in my heart that he don't do the agreement he signed on it. I know it. I know how the jihadist plant. I know how they act, and when they say it's agreement, I say to myself, he don't do it for a long time. So today I have interview with some of the minister of Ashara leadership, and he asked me, why Israel, why you go inside the Syria, why involved, what happening in Syria, what is your business to in this thing, and what you are the Israeli want to say who is be the presidents of Syria. So I tell him this question is the question from all the world. What I tell him is one thing: it's not my case who is be the leadership in Syria. This is one. But if it's a massacre and is like the Holocaust, we are the Jew. Know what is it? 6 million of the Jew died in the Holocaust, and another Holocaust in the 7th of October, 1,600 people they're murdered in this Holocaust. They do it in our holiday. So we are the Jew. Know what is Holocaust. Once I don't want to see Holocaust all over the world. The Jew don't like that murder people are nothing. This is the first. The second, I feel Kurdistan is my other country. I have two country. Like you are in Canada. For you. I think it's the first country. To me, it's the second country. Even I'm two generation from Kurdistan in Israel. I feel like it's my country. I feel like you are my brothers. I
And
feel,
we, all the Kurds, we consider the Jewish Kurds in Israel as our compatriots.
yes. So in my politic power, and I have a lot of politic power in Likud party, I take all my power and I do as I know to help to the Kurds as I can't. I can't send the plane to bombs in Syria, but I can make a pressure, a big pressure, a politics pressure. And this is what I do all my life to Kurdistan. So when I see and when I listen what happening in Rojava, the first thing is is to think what happening there. I talk with Weysi, me and Weysi working together a long years. He's working some of the times in Israel, and he have a big heart to Israel, and he tell me, please, Yehuda, do as you can't. We must stop the genocide. So I take all my power to the politics people in Israel and in our party, Likud party, and I talk with all I can talk. So today night I put in my ex the letter the parliament member Amita Levy is very very inside in the committee of security and the big strong about these things. After I talked with him a lot, a long conversation, he sent a letter to Bibi Netanyahu, and he sent the letter to Akabi, the senator in Israel. And the second things that I take the Jew from America that I have connection with them, and they are from APAC, and they are working a lot in America, and we do as we can to push the members of the Congress and Senate to make a little pressure on Trump to stop the genocide. First thing, stop the genocide. You
Yes.
can't give, the world can't be silent. When we go to Raza, after the kills and make murder in genocide in or try to do it in Israel, the world come on Israel. Don't say why they do that. Stop, 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 stop. I don't know why we have a silence from all the world when the blood of the Kurds is like a water. What is another blood? They don't have a blood in his inner body. So we talk all over the sea, and we do as we can to to
Yes.
to do a politic moves. And if you see my ex, we talk with a lot of senators,
Yes.
and we bring him with
Yes.
us.
Yes. So I'm right to observe that you are behind this mobilization globally.
Yes,
So you have our heartfelt thanks,
thank
Kak
you.
Yehuda. So I want to ask to Kak Weysi. Kak Weysi, you have been in Israel for like what, 5 years? And you
Almost.
have been, yeah, and you have engaged, I think, heart to heart with the Kurdistani Jews, including Mr. Ben Yousef in Israel. You know better than me that the connection between Kurdish nation and the Kurdistani Jews in Israel is heartfelt. But what was your observation of the people living in? I think they are mainly in Jerusalem. Uh, how was their reaction? That's my first question. And second question would be, and I would later ask this to Mr. Ben Yehuda. You know, you are following the Kurdish news and the social media maybe better than me. That there is coming from Turkey. Actually, there is this word of saying Israel has sold out the Kurds. Israel has betrayed the Kurds. Israel has only used the Kurds as a pawn, as a means to achieve their objectives. So, what was your observation of the Israel Kurdistani Jews in Israel that Mr. Yehuda is president for? And what was the state of Israel stance in this continuing massacre?
Look, first of all, we have to be crystal clear. Israel has never ever signed any agreement with the Kurds. Mr. Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu has mentioned several times, but most importantly, like he said, we extend our hands of friendship to Druzi and the Kurdish communities. Mr. Saar, foreign minister, also mentioned that the Kurds are the national alliance of Israel. Have ever Kurds extended the hands, or did have ever Kurdish leadership in Rojava or in Bashur, wherever, hold this hand? Never. I tell you. I mean, I'm familiar with some instances, and the Kurds have always, the Kurdish leadership have permanently addressed the concerns, sensitivities that when they cooperate with Israel, or when they try to even to talk with the Jews from Kurdistan, like of whom Yehuda is the president. They always had the concerns. Okay, when we talk to them, when we not just cooperate, just to talk to them, address the name. I mean, they barely mentioned the name, actually, the name of Israel. To be honest, because they had the concerns and sensitivities of Arab tribes. They thought that if we talk to Israel, the Arab tribe will defect, and that's what exactly happened, even without trying, because the Arabs betrayed the Kurds and the Arab tribes. It was very obvious. Second thing, they had the concerns that Turkey will be dissatisfied when they talk with Israel, and that's why Turkey always used, always threatened the Kurds that they cooperate with Israel and with the Jews. There was nothing, actually. Turkey always used to warn them, and the Kurds were under pressure. Then the Kurds had they had the concerns of Öcalan and the Bahçeli. They didn't want. They always said that Israel is kind of changing the war, the Middle East, and they want to establish its hegemony. And even many Turkish authors and scholars, even MPs, even some Turkish activists, actually, all of them mostly of the Turkish origin, they always they present Öcalan, who's in captivity, who is hostage, as the enemy of Israel. and the Kurdish leadership in Rojava failed to hold his hands. And the vision that they have, like democratic for Israel, even not just because of the cooperation, but also Israel didn't know what exactly the Kurds wants actually. The vision, what kind of vision? They have democratic Syria.
Have you heard from the Israeli states people?
Sorry.
Have you heard this with your have you heard this from the Israeli
I hear
statesmen?
from many Israeli colleagues, from many scholars, many academics, and many journalists as well. And also on social media, I permanently wrote in my pieces for the Jerusalem Post, for the Times of Israel, and always emphasize this point. You have to come up with very clear vision for your own community, like Druze communities, for example. They openly said, we want Israel to come to intervene, and we want them to protect us because we are a victim of massacre committed by the Turkish-backed, the jihadis. All of them are Turkish-backed anyways, in Syria, or the Jolani or ISIS or all these communities. And then they said, we want federalism, and then they amplified the goal, and they said, we want independence. But the Kurds still even today, and then
yes.
all this, but also all these points, but also despite all this fact, I tell you, I'm also familiar with some cases that Israel is really behind the scenes engaged in US and somewhere else to convince the American policymaker actually to intervene and prevent the massacre against the Kurds.
Exactly. So,
Tom Barak, for example, every day he meets the Kurdish leadership with the Muslim Kubani and Ilham Ahmed and other leaders, and I don't think that he just, because he said the joke with the SDF is over. We don't need them anymore. We have a new government. And
correct.
According to your own interest, they don't care about jihadist aspect. And despite this statement, every day almost he meets the Kurdish leadership. Some senators, they made statement, and the Jewish factor. The Israelis are involved. They probably may also bring the Kurdish case to the United Nations, and this is something. But the Kurds still, I see on social media many Kurdish, let's say the activists, scholars, and some Kurds claim they don't have qualification. They never studied political science, international relations. They totally don't understand the real politics in the Middle East.
Yes.
They live in Washington or somewhere in Europe, and then they come up with all these conspiracy theories that Israel is to blame. But there was Turkey who went openly, genocide, and Turkey tried to use this Israel card to actually brings the Kurd, and also this Turkish and Kurdish, whether consciously or intentionally, to provoke the Kurds against Israel, to promote this anti-Semitic approach. And the Kurds are not anti-Semitic. It's not part of the culture.
No, not at all.
We do exactly these things, and even though the Turkey is the perpetrators of this massacre, supporting all manufacturing this jihadists, and then they put the finger on Israel. But Israel, and then blamed Israel. But Israel never, even the ambassador of Israel mentioned.
Yes, I think I can.
Even he mentioned we never talk about the Kurdish issue, and that was not a subject. But still, they put finger at Israel. But there was never ever any agreement, and Israel did.
I understand.
But Israel was not committed.
Yeah. So what you're pointing out is Kurdish leadership has never really contacted Israel for Israel to have any connection with any Kurdish leadership. But despite that, I want to make a comment before asking my last question to Kak Yehuda, which is this. Despite the fractured and inconsistent leadership among the Kurdish people, I can safely say that almost all the Kurds that I know of from all four parts of Kurdistan are pro-Israel, whether Israel helps or not. There is a consensus among the Kurds that a Kurdistan is going to happen in alliance with Israel, and this alliance is going to bring the security that Israel needs to Israel. Anyway, this is what Kurds think. This is what we believe. Kak Yehuda, my last questions to you. You have read the news from Reuters yesterday that said Israel gave its green light for this massacre against the Kurds. So I want you to clarify this for us, even though it has been falsified by the state of Israel. So this is my first question. Is there any truth to that? And second question, in your last days, what have you seen Israeli statesmen and Israeli state has been doing to stop this massacre in Syria against the Kurds?
You believe that we give a green light to make massacre?
But there's a silence which is worrying for me. Gideon Sa'ar is silent. Benjamin Netanyahu is silent.
This is different things.
Mhm.
Once is to give a green light to make massacre. This is different, and being silent is a second thing. You must to understand how many Jew in Israel,
8 million, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. And this 8 million, how many enemies we have all our border now we have
400 million.
like that. So you must to understand, the world, the Kurds understand that Israel she's strong, but we're a little country. I think Israel area is is like the autonomy. It's not big area, and we fight in this time against 7 countries. Iran is 80, 85 million people. In Syria, we have a fight with big country. In Lebanon, with Hezbollah. In Gaza, with 2 million murder. With 2 million. With Turks, we have a lot of starting to warm. It's not warm, but we have things from here, things from here. It start to be a fight. So try to think if Rojava have now not only Jolani and Turk against them be a 7 countries. What happening? It's a big
Correct.
problem.
Yes.
So you must to understand, our friend, our brothers, that Israel is very strong. It's right. But Israel in this time, she have a big fight against all his enemy together. In all our Rome against Israel, it's not one country. In 6 days, it was 3 or 4 or 5 countries that coming all together. In Yom Kippur, Rome 73, 3, 4 countries coming, all his army, when Syria was a big army with Assad, the father, not the son, and Jordan, and everybody coming on Israel. And we're strong. But this time, we have a mission to cut Iran, to cut Khamenei of Iran, because the people in Iran don't love him too, and we are no, they are have a big danger from Iran to Israel, and we are 2,000 kilometers between Israel to Iran, and we have Trump in the middle. Give him a permission to work, not give him permission to work. A lot of all the help is from America. It's not our. We don't make it. We buy it. Some of the missiles, some of the things. This is our Israelis do. Some of the things we need to take. We make a big mistake. We have all this factory for bombs, and sometimes before 10 or 11 years, Israel make decide we don't need it. We buy from Germany, we buy from USA, from a lot of country. But in this room, we understand that anti-Semitic all over the world, when being war, they don't give them a bombs. So now I think Israel returned to make bombs. So what I mean and what I want to say, we now in big worm, Israel in big worm. She's not in silent only all his borders. In Gaza, the Turks put her hands,
Correct.
Qatar put his hands, and we have a big problem. We have a big problem, and we don't finish the mission in Gaza. We don't finish the reason in with Hezbollah. Is every day can bake. We every week 2 or 3 times we bomb in Lebanon, we bomb in Syria, we bomb in other places. So we are not in a good situation to open another border to fight, and we have Trump is not give us the permission to work.
Mm, mm,
But I think Bibi is a smart leader of Israel, very smart.
mhm.
I know he make a pressure. I know, surely, that he make a pressure on Trump government to help the Kurds. We are the only nation support independent to the Kurds, the only nation in the world.
Which is
You
true.
don't, and so what do you think, in your opinion? We want to kill, the murder all the Kurds? We have a green light, like you say? No. And second things, when it start, they see what I do with all our government, with all our government. And believe me, we do. Know everything we do, we can put it on the news, in podcasts, on the media, and TV. Israel is a smart country. She do things that never you know, and me know, and my brother Weysi know. We do things in secret. Not
Okay.
everybody know.
So we trust.
Even in Kurdistan.
Yes. So we trust your efforts. I just wanted to hear it from you, and thank you very much. And please, we have a fractured and inconsistent leadership. We are aware of it. This is the Kurdish challenge. Weysi and me. This falls on to us, to the Kurds. But it's good to know we have friends like you. It's the first time in Kurdish history, in my lifetime, that I can say we have friends other than mountains. Kak Yehuda, thank you very much for being there.
Information. I want one sentence. My uncle is no. His name was the member of the Knesset, Chaviv Shimoni. He's go to his father's. He died. But you know what he do with Mullah Mustafa Barzani? It's a fight. We send a people to Kurdistan to build your army in the Iraqi side. I think you know it. It's books about it. So our friendships with Kurdistan, it's a long years. I'm talking about the 16 and 17 years. We are support the Kurds under the table a long years.
Thank you
So
very
it's not.
much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Kak Weysi, if you want to add your last comments, we cannot hear you.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I just want to emphasize again, and actually, right now, what's going on in Israel, I follow, and I'm part of the academic environment at university. I'll say at every level, really, many Israeli colleagues, whether Jewish Kurds or non-Jewish Kurds, like Israeli, they reach out to me and ask how can they support, because what's going on in Rojava is something that reminds them of the October 7, and at different level, whether MPs, whether journalists, whether academics, whether ordinary people, whether even minister actually did try to do and even they criticize the government, why the government doesn't intervene, and though this kind of solidarity is there, but it's very painful that actually to see that the Turks try to blame Israel
Yes.
for what's going on in Rojava,
Correct.
and
Correct.
what anti-Semitism. This is continuation of the Turkish strategy. Actually, the Turkey started the peace process with Öcalan for that reason, to cut to rein in Israel's influence in the region, and also to prevent any cooperation between the Kurds and Israel, and especially the Kurds to Israel. Even Dawlat Bahchali mentioned that the Kurds and Israel should never ever be close, because there was a talk about the corridor. He said this is the corridor of evil. Everything he did, he didn't prevent the Kurds, landlock the Kurds to reach out to Israel, to to jump in the diplomatic arena, and follow the agenda for self-determination. And now the Turks did everything from the beginning, actually, to sabotage the Kurdish project, the Kurdish self-determination, the Kurdish aspiration. And now especially Turkish scholar and some Kurdish individual self-identified expert for the Middle East, for international relations, based in Washington, with inconsistent comments permanently, leaving comments, confusing people mindset, and without any basis, or any let's say logical argument, actually. But unfortunately, they have many followers on social media, and they mislead the people, and
Yes.
actually provoke them against, promote anti-Semitism, certain factor of anti-Semitism, and that's exactly what Turkey wants. And the whitewashed Turkish role to organize jihadis, transport them to Sueda, also to Alawite region, and based on Muslim Brotherhood, actually train them and then motivate them to commit massacre. And this is very sad. It's very unfair, to be honest. I mean, of course, Israel can play a crucial role, and that's what we expect. And for this, you have to work. And Israel is not responsible for the Kurds. They don't have they are not neighbors. The Kurds have to work for it in Washington, in Europe, in the Middle East, and then maybe some Kurdish leadership and Kurdish representatives should maybe be invited, and someone should ask them this question: have you ever tried? Did you reach Israel, and so on?
This falls on to us, right?
Yeah, and we have to. This is something that we have to talk about. I don't promote any interest or any image. I'm a political scientist, actually, and I understand real politics. I know what pragmatic politics means and how the Kurds fail to understand this politics and be more in touch with the reality. So I mentioned that for now.
So I know it's too late in Israel. I thank you both for your time. I know your schedule is very busy. Kak Yehuda, please continue your efforts, as we don't have anyone else to advocate for us, and you are doing it. Thank you very much, Kak Weysi. Thank you very much, Kak Yehuda.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.